Why do you stay broke while they, the few, the powerful, the daring, keep getting richer? Why does it seem like wealth is a fortress you are kept outside of, while others walk freely through its gates? Is it luck? Is it talent? Or is it strategy? Let me tell you something that will shake you. The difference is not chance, it is not even education, it is power. Power built upon principles so old, so ruthless, and so effective that they were once whispered in the courts of kings. And one man wrote them down. His name was Machiavelli. And today, we are going to uncover how his principles, the same principles used to shape empires and topple nations, can explain why you stay broke, and how you can break free. If you want to stop watching wealth slip through your fingers, if you want to step into the world where money obeys you instead of controls you, then listen carefully. Backhand index pointing right before we begin, hit that subscribe button right now, because what you are about to learn will change the way you see money, forever. Most people live under illusions. They think wealth comes from hard work alone. They believe if they show up, stay honest, play fair, the system will reward them. But the truth is brutal, the system does not reward fairness, it rewards power. The rich understand this. The poor ignore it. And that's why the gap keeps widening. Machiavelli, in his timeless book The Prince, said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose." Now think about money. Do you treat money with love, hoping it will come to you? Or do you command it with discipline, structure, and power? The wealthy don't hope for riches. They design systems that force money to obey. The poor. They spend. They react. They chase. They bow. The rich. They build. They control. They dominate. The difference between staying broke and building wealth lies in understanding that money is not emotional, it is strategic. And Machiavelli's principles reveal the cold strategy behind wealth. Machiavelli taught that rulers must master appearances. It does not matter what you are deep inside, what matters is what others see. Apply this to money. The wealthy understand the power of perception. They know that wealth attracts wealth. They dress the part, they build reputations, they signal success long before the money even arrives. Why? Because perception creates influence, and influence creates opportunities. The broke man waits until he has money to look successful. The rich man uses the illusion of success to attract wealth before it arrives. This is why some people get funded, promoted, or trusted with millions, while others with real skill are ignored. The game is perception. So ask yourself, how do you appear in the marketplace of money? Do you look like power, or do you look like desperation? Machiavelli said, "The one who controls the arms, controls the state." Translate this into the modern world, the one who controls resources controls wealth. Why do you stay broke? Because you do not control anything. You depend on jobs you don't own. You depend on banks you don't control. You depend on trends you didn't start. You consume what others create. You follow instead of lead. The rich? They build control. They own equity. They own businesses. They own systems that generate money whether they sleep or wake. They do not rent their time, they own their time. This is the Machiavellian secret. True power is not in working harder, it is in owning the levers others must pull. Ask yourself, do you want to be the worker, or the one who owns the work? Machiavelli was hated because he told rulers to abandon illusions. He said, "Do not live in the world as you wish it to be, live in the world as it is." And the world of money? It is not fair. It is not equal. It is not designed for your comfort. If you cling to fantasies like, money doesn't matter, or, rich people are just lucky, you are feeding yourself lies. The rich are not trapped by morality when it comes to money, they are guided by results. They play chess while you play checkers. They think, how do I control, not, how do I work harder? They ask, what game is being played here, and how can I win it, while most people ask, why is life unfair? Stop being the victim. Machiavelli would say, power belongs to the one who dares to seize it. Let me lay it bare, you stay broke because you act with emotion, while the rich act with strategy. You spend to feel good. They invest to gain power. You fear risk. They embrace calculated risk. You wait for permission. They create permission. Machiavelli warned, he who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. And in money, if you cannot command yourself, you cannot command wealth. Think about your life. How many times have you chosen comfort over discipline? How many times have you said, one day, instead of today? How many times have you traded long-term power for short-term pleasure? This is why you stay broke. Because you live like a servant in a world built for rulers. But here's the truth you must hold on to, you are not doomed. You can learn this. You can escape. Machiavelli's principles are not just for princes and kings. They are for anyone daring enough to play the game of power. And in the coming chapters, I will show you step by step how to use his ruthless wisdom to take control of money instead of being controlled by it. We will break down how to use fear and respect in business. Why the illusion of generosity can buy you power. How to build systems that keep you rich while others work for you. And the Machiavellian mindset that will turn you from victim to master. CTA, end of chunk 1. If this first lesson shook you, if you're beginning to see why the rich keep rising while others stay stuck, then don't stop here. Hit the like button, drop a comment with, I refuse to stay broke, and make sure you subscribe. Because the next part will reveal Machiavelli's hidden rule that wealthy families have used for centuries to keep themselves untouchable. Stay with me. The game has just begun. If the first truth struck you hard, prepare yourself, because this is where the principles get darker, sharper, and far more dangerous. You want to know why they keep getting richer while you remain trapped? Because they are willing to play the game you refuse to even acknowledge. A game not of fairness, but of control. A game not of kindness, but of leverage. And Machiavelli left us the blueprint. Backhand index pointing right before I reveal these hidden laws, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. This is the kind of knowledge no school, no boss, and no government will ever give you, for a reason. Machiavelli wrote one of his most famous lines, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Now let's apply this to wealth. Most broke people want to be liked. They want approval. They fear upsetting others. They give discounts. They undercharge. They apologize for asking for money. But the rich? They understand that respect is worth more than affection. In business, in negotiation, in money itself, you cannot afford to be the one begging for love. You must be the one commanding respect. This doesn't mean being cruel for the sake of cruelty. It means this: when people deal with you, they must know your value, they must know your boundaries, and they must know that you will not be taken lightly. Love without respect is weakness. Respect, even with a touch of fear, creates power. Think about it. Would you rather be the boss everyone laughs at but no one obeys, or the leader everyone respects and dares not betray? The wealthy know the answer. Machiavelli also warned that no ruler can survive without allies. Alone, you are vulnerable. With allies, you are untouchable. Now ask yourself, who are you surrounded by? Broke people usually surround themselves with other broke people. Gossipers, complainers, spenders. And what happens? They all remain broke together. But the rich? They build alliances of advantage. They network. They partner. They invest in relationships that multiply their power. One contact, one ally, one strategic friendship can open doors worth millions. The Machiavellian rule here is simple: choose alliances not by comfort, but by opportunity. It doesn't matter if someone is your friend, it matters if they bring power to your table. This may sound cold, but this is the reality of wealth. If you are serious about escaping poverty, you must examine your circle. Are you aligned with power, or are you chained to weakness? Now, this one may disturb you. But you need to hear it. Machiavelli taught that rulers must master deception. Appear virtuous, he said, even if you are not. Speak like a saint, act like a fox. Why? Because people believe appearances. And appearances are weapons. In money, this doesn't mean lying about everything. It means learning the art of strategic deception. The rich know how to hide their true intentions. They smile when they're competing. They flatter when they're negotiating. They appear generous when they're actually buying loyalty. Meanwhile, the broke man is transparent. Everyone can see his desperation. He announces his plans before he secures them. He shows his weaknesses without realizing predators are watching. The Machiavellian principle is this: reveal little, conceal much. Show strength, never weakness. Make others believe they know your game, while you play a different one in the shadows. Because in money, as in politics, naive honesty is a luxury only the powerless can afford. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors those who control circumstances rather than wait for them. The rich do not wait for opportunity, they create opportunity. This is why you see billionaires buying industries, starting trends, setting rules. Why do you stay broke? Because you wait. You wait for the perfect job. You wait for the right time. You wait for motivation. You wait for luck. And while you wait, someone else seizes the throne. Here's the Machiavellian truth: opportunities are not found, they are taken. They are forged through bold moves, decisive action, and the refusal to wait for permission. If you want wealth, you cannot afford to be passive. You must be the storm that others react to, not the leaf blown in the wind. Another Machiavellian principle: generosity is dangerous if it drains you, but powerful if it is strategic. The poor give recklessly. They buy to impress. They spend to show off. They donate to feel good, even when their own house is on fire. And what happens? They weaken themselves. The rich? They give strategically. They appear generous, but only in ways that increase their power. They sponsor events that raise their profile. They invest in gifts that buy loyalty. They make donations that secure influence. Their generosity is an investment in control. So ask yourself, are you giving to look good in front of people who don't matter, or are you giving to build alliances, open doors, and increase your strength? Let me stop here and point this out: staying broke is not just about money, it's about mindset. Machiavelli would tell you that the biggest prison is not outside you, but inside your thinking. The broke mindset is obsessed with comfort. It fears risk. It avoids conflict. It dreams of fairness in a world that rewards only power. The wealthy mindset accepts conflict. It seeks leverage. It plays reality as it is, not as it should be. And when opportunity arises, it seizes it, even if it means others lose. This is the part you may not want to hear: wealth requires a level of coldness. Not cruelty, but detachment. You cannot grow rich if you cry over every setback, if you cling to everyone's approval, if you beg for a world that doesn't exist. It's simple. They apply these principles, you don't. They command respect, you chase approval. They build alliances, you waste time with dead weight. They deceive when needed, you reveal your weaknesses. They create opportunities, you wait for them. They give strategically, you spend foolishly. This is the brutal difference between wealth and poverty. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. If you're still with me, you are not like the rest. Most people would have clicked away by now, unable to face this raw truth. But you stayed. That means you are ready to break free. So here's what I want you to do: type in the comments, "I will play to win." Declare it publicly. And make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video with one friend who needs to wake up. Because in the next part, we'll dive into the most dangerous Machiavellian secret of all, how to turn even your enemies, your failures, and your obstacles into fuel for your rise to wealth. Stay sharp. The game is getting deadlier. The rich don't fear enemies. They use them. The rich don't avoid obstacles. They feed on them. And the poor? The poor run, complain, and crumble under pressure. If you want to know why you remain broke while they keep building wealth, listen carefully, because Machiavelli's wisdom reveals the one thing that separates rulers from servants, the ability to turn every threat into power. Backhand index pointing right. But before we dive into this ruthless law of success, pause for 1 second, subscribe right now, hit that bell, because what you're about to learn can turn your failures into gold. Machiavelli wrote that rulers should never fear having enemies. In fact, enemies can strengthen a ruler's power. Think about that. Most people are terrified of conflict. They want everyone to like them. They run from criticism, from hate, from opposition. And that's why they stay broke. The rich? They understand the truth. Enemies are proof that you are moving powerfully. Every empire attracts rebels. Every leader attracts critics. Every wealthy man attracts envy. But here's the Machiavellian twist: enemies are useful. They sharpen you. They give you attention. They create drama that keeps you relevant. They force you to grow stronger. Ask yourself, do you cry when someone criticizes your hustle, or do you use that fire to push harder? Do you run from hate, or do you let it fuel your ambition? The rich embrace enemies. The broke avoid them. Machiavelli said fortune is like a river, sometimes calm, sometimes flooding. The wise ruler prepares for both. In money, this means one thing: never waste failure. The broke treat failure as the end. They lose money and quit. They get rejected and stop trying. They face setbacks and decide it wasn't meant for them. But the rich? They see failure as tuition. Every loss is a lesson. Every rejection is redirection. Every collapse is raw material for a greater empire. Why do you think so many billionaires went bankrupt before they made it? Because they refused to waste failure. They treated failure as the price of mastery, not the end of the road. Machiavelli would say, do not let fortune destroy you. Prepare, adapt, and bend it to your will. Here lies the brutal truth. The poor crave pleasure. The rich crave power. Machiavelli insisted that rulers must be disciplined, never ruled by their own desires. A prince who chases pleasure, he said, destroys his kingdom. Look at money. The broke man spends every extra dollar on entertainment, on indulgence, on things that rot in weeks. The rich? They reinvest. They delay gratification. They use discipline to multiply their resources. This is why you stay broke. You are ruled by desire. You think money is for spending, not for building. You see cash as a toy, not a weapon. Machiavelli would slap you with this truth: the one who cannot control himself cannot control wealth. You want to stop being broke? Master your desires. Machiavelli warned that rulers who stay neutral in times of conflict always lose. Why? Because both sides despise the neutral man. Now apply this to your financial life. Most broke people stay neutral. They never choose a side. They don't commit fully to their dream. They keep options open. They dabble in a little of this, a little of that. And what happens? They get crushed by those who commit fully. The rich? They pick a battlefield and dominate it. They stake their claim, they commit resources, they burn the bridges so there's no way back. That's why they win. Neutrality is death. In money, in business, in life, you must choose your arena, fight with everything, and refuse to retreat. Do you see it now? Wealth is not about luck. It's not even about intelligence. It's about power, the cold, calculated, disciplined use of power. The broke stay broke because they fear enemies, they avoid conflict, they waste failure, they indulge desire, they remain neutral. The rich get rich because they embrace enemies, they feed on failure, they master discipline, they build systems, and they commit fully. This is why the gap grows. Because one side plays with Machiavellian realism, while the other side lives in fantasy. Right now, you have two choices. You can keep living as you are, working, spending, waiting, hoping, or you can take the cold wisdom of Machiavelli and apply it to your life. Stop waiting for fairness. Stop chasing comfort. Stop begging for approval. Build discipline. Build systems. Use enemies. Harness failure. Because in the world of money, no one crowns you. No one gives you permission. You take it, or you stay broke. If this struck a nerve, it's because you know it's true. You've been playing small. But that ends now. Comment below, I choose power. Say it. Declare it. And if you're ready to keep rising, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the wake-up call.